Daniel Orogo onto the set. Karibu sana, Bwana Orogo is also a political analyst. And we're just looking at Wajir, the significance of that town celebrating or marking or hosting the Madaraka Day celebrations for the very first time in that whole region that we call Northern Kenya. And Bwana Orogo, Wajir has also a very painful past. About 42 years ago, the Wagala massacre. And many Kenyans do not understand this part of history. Many Kenyans do not even know which direction Wajir is from Nairobi, 680 kilometers away. Do you think that this could feature in this celebrations today?
Thank you.
That probably it is an opportunity to revisit some of this painful history.
Well, thank you, and my apologies for arriving late. I mean, it's a public holiday.
Happy Madaraka Day.
Happy Madaraka Day. So one of the things, just to thank the organizers, and I hear what Meshach is talking about addressing the need to highlight some of these most important parts of this country. One of the things that was probably done by the previous regime is to try to highlight, the celebration in different parts of this country. And I think in devolving the National Day celebration, probably brings into like to understand exactly what are other regions looking like. I mean, we've had, the celebration circulated all over, and in the spirit, I think, of devolution, trying to take it to different countries. And I think, first of all, I just begin to say that that was a very brilliant idea in terms of celebrating a nationhood, trying to unite the country and saying that each and every part of this country befits to host, such a national fete. And it's quite important for us to acknowledge that. And this is why we actually landing in Wajir today. And you've seen, your crew and the rest of the media stations, a week's build-up, just trying to highlight what is in this particular region that other Kenyans do not understand. What is the diversity that is
actually it takes 2 days to travel to Wajir.
Yeah, actually, when people, people report that it takes you 2 days on road, actually. To be at that place, and then people begin to understand the magnitude, the historical injustices that have existed in some parts of this country. It's quite difficult for people to understand that you can be on road. We take 7 or 8 hours, from here to Western Kenya. I don't know how long Ikua takes to be,
15 minutes.
15 minutes to be on their region. So you really now understand.
And with the expressway coming, it will be 30 minutes.
Would you understand? Would people really understand? Some of us in Western Kenya take those long hours, and we complain that this part of this country is so far, outstretched out of this capital city. But now listen to people who take 2 days, on road, and in that, add to the fact that the infrastructure, the road infrastructure, is not even developed as much. It is in the extreme that when it's dry, it's dusty, and that when it rains, sometimes it's even difficult for you to access those places with buses, hovering around the mud. So I think it's quite important for us as a country, beginning to retell even the story of independence, but actually looking at, highlighting at these really places, feeling that even with the spirit of devolution, they're as far as the rest of the Kenyans are. I mean, and apart from that, just telling their stories, historical injustice, the Wagala massacre that you've talked about. And I think some of us who've benefited to read and, watch documentaries and understand the magnitude of what that did to that particular region. It's quite, for me, it's quite a momentous for them. Like some of them really, it's for the very first time they're even seeing a stadium built to that magnitude, to understand that indeed we are now part of this country. So I think, Fred, it's a bit of nostalgic for, the people living in Wajir, but even for us who are, watching from this particular end, it's for us to understand the stories, the historical injustices from different regimes.
Yes.
And sometimes I say give the credit where it's due. That sometimes I think Uhuru's government and Ruto's government have made a little bit of step to try to devolve this kind of celebration in various countries. And that was a good idea. The regime that thought about it, that was a brilliant idea.
All right. All the eyes of the country are on Wajir this morning for the celebrations, which will only go up until